There will come a moment when life tests you, not gently, not politely, but with the full force of a storm that doesn't care if you drown in it. And in that moment, people will watch, not to help, but to see if you break. They won't ask how you feel. They'll just watch your face. They'll measure your silence. They'll interpret your stillness. Because in a world that panics at every inconvenience, power belongs to the one who remains unmoved. Act as if nothing bothers you, not because you feel nothing, but because your spirit is too big to be shaken by small things. This is not about pretending. This is about commanding yourself, commanding your emotions, commanding your response to a world that worships reaction. The strongest man in the room isn't the one with clenched fists. It's the one with open eyes, steady hands, and an untouchable mind. You don't flinch. You don't fold. You do not give life the satisfaction of watching you crumble. Because you were not built for ease. You were built for impact. Look at the men who shaped history. Edison failed 10,000 times to create the light bulb. And when they mocked him, he smiled and said, "I didn't fail. I found 10,000 ways that won't work." Carnegie grew up poor, worked in a cotton factory, and yet he rose to build steel empires, not by luck, but by mindset. Lincoln faced failure after failure, loss after loss, and still stood with a fire in his chest so steady it carried a nation through war. Do you think they didn't feel pain? They did. But they acted like kings before they wore the crown. They acted like visionaries before the world saw the vision. They acted like they were unbothered, because emotion is energy, and they refuse to give theirs away cheaply. Every day, the world will hand you invitations to chaos. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Someone talks behind your back. You lose an opportunity you believed was yours. You get betrayed, forgotten, undervalued. And each time, life whispers, react, lose control, show them you're upset. But you don't answer. Why? Because every time you react, you confirm to the world that it controls you. And you are not here to be controlled. You are here to control what can be controlled. And that begins with your inner world. Let them wonder why you're not flinching. Let them whisper about your calmness. Let them misjudge your silence as weakness. They won't see what's really happening. The war you're winning in the privacy of your own mind. You are building an inner fortress, brick by brick, with every insult you ignore, with every panic you refuse, with every storm you walk through, head held high, shoulders unshaken. That is the foundation of unbreakable men. Discipline begins where emotion ends. Don't chase the feeling, chase the command. Because life doesn't reward the emotional, it rewards the intentional. You will not rise by chance. You will rise by choice. And choice demands clarity. So here's the truth that most will never admit. You can't be free until you stop needing people to understand you. You can't lead until you stop chasing validation. You can't grow until you stop explaining your growth to those who chose stagnation. The greatest prison is the fear of what people think. Act as if nothing bothers you, not to deceive them, but to liberate yourself. Because once you learn that someone's opinion can't touch you unless you hand it your power, you become untouchable. And from that stillness, greatness is born. Do you know why most people never become what they're capable of? It's not lack of talent. It's not lack of intelligence. It's because they crumble under pressure that wasn't even real. They imagined the judgment. They imagined the failure. They imagined the ridicule. And they responded to ghosts while their potential went untouched. Not you. You will not live your life reacting to shadows. You will not let your story be written by emotion that lasts minutes but costs you years. You will wake up with a mission. You will carry yourself like a leader, not a follower. You will walk into every room as if you belong there, because belief is posture before it becomes a result. Speak like your words create worlds. Walk like your steps shape roads. Think like your mind builds empires. You are the author of your energy, and energy is the language of destiny. You want to become someone unstoppable? Then learn this. Control your presence in the storm, and the storm loses its power. When you walk into chaos and remain calm, you become the signal in the noise. When others crumble and you stay poised, people follow you, even if they don't understand why. Because stillness is magnetic. Composure is dominance. And dominance doesn't mean aggression. It means certainty. You are certain of who you are, certain of where you're going, certain of what does and does not deserve your reaction. This is how warriors move in modern times, not with swords, but with presence, with patience, with precision. You act as if nothing bothers you, not because you're numb, but because you're masterful. And mastery means this: you feel everything, but you choose what deserves a response. That's power. That's grace under fire. That's how legacies are made. Let others react, you will respond. Let others panic, you will plan. Let others get loud, you will move in silence, letting your results speak. The quieter you become, the more you are heard. The stiller your presence, the more powerful your motion. And when they ask how you do it, how you stay unbothered while everything burns around you, you'll smile, because they'll never understand the battles you've already won in silence. They'll never see the nights you fought your own mind, the mornings you rose with no applause, the rejections you faced and turned into redirection, the betrayals you buried without bitterness. You learn to act as if nothing bothers you, because you decided that peace is more valuable than proof. Purpose is more valuable than pride. And progress is louder than pity, because when others bend, you build. When others panic, you plan. When others lose it, you lead. That's what leaders do. They hold the line when others break. They breathe deep when others choke. They keep showing up, not because it's easy, but because they are called. And if you're hearing this now, it means that call is inside you. It means you are being summoned, not to the easy path, but to the disciplined one. Because the disciplined man doesn't just move differently. He sees differently. He sees long-term. He sees beyond the emotion of the moment. He sees opportunity where others see offense. He sees power where others only see pressure. This is your time to be that man. Calm is your armor. Clarity is your sword. Composure is your crown. Because at the end of the day, they will remember not just what you built, but how you built it. Not just what you said, but how you carried yourself when everything tried to break you. Let your silence be legendary. Let your stillness echo louder than screams. You are not here to be triggered. You are here to trigger transformation. You are not here to match their chaos. You are here to model command. So let the world spin. Let the fire rise. Let the tension grow. And in the center of it all, stand there, still, focused, unbothered, because nothing owns you anymore. Not their words, not their noise, not even your past. You are becoming something rare, something few will ever understand. A master of response, a builder of peace, an architect of stillness in a shaking world. Act as if nothing bothers you, because everything they do to shake you only proves how unshakable you've become. And once you understand that, you stop defending your peace. Because peace, real peace, the kind forged through fire, doesn't negotiate. You don't lower your voice to explain to noise. You don't shrink your vision to make others comfortable. You don't explain calmness to chaos. You've graduated from that. You understand now. The man who reacts has already lost, because he handed over his crown to the moment. But the man who breathes, the man who watches, the man who waits, not out of fear but out of control, he owns the battlefield, even when he hasn't drawn his weapon. There's a difference between silence that cowers and silence that conquers, and you've chosen the latter. Act as if nothing bothers you, because emotional control is your superpower in a world addicted to outrage. Do you know why most people lose their way? Because they let the trivial masquerade as critical. They get pulled into the vortex of what doesn't matter. They wage wars over rumors. They break down over glances. They chase validation from people who haven't even validated themselves. And you've seen through the illusion. You've realized that mastery doesn't mean you never feel pain. It means pain bows before your discipline. Let that sink in. Pain, fear, doubt, all of them knocking at the door. But you don't answer like a victim. You don't flinch like a servant. You stand tall like the owner of the house, because this is your mind, and you decide who lives there. And what lives there? Belief, vision, conviction. They don't live in clutter. They thrive in clarity. That's why your detachment is sacred, not apathy. Clarity. You're not cold. You're clear. You don't react, because you already decided who you are. Let the world bring distractions. Let it test you with insults, rejections, delays, and betrayal. Let it whisper doubt and scream disappointment. And you stay locked in, because your mission is bigger than moods. This is the same discipline that built empires. Henry Ford was mocked, ridiculed, sued, and challenged. But he didn't flinch. He said, "Obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off the goal." He stayed focused, and the world caught up. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Imagine that. The man who reshaped dreams was told he had none. But he didn't respond with bitterness. He responded with creation. That's what you're doing. You're not here to argue. You're here to build. You're not here to prove them wrong. You're here to prove yourself right. You're not here to win in the moment. You're here to win in your lifetime. And so you walk with purpose, unbothered, unshaken. Not because you feel invincible, but because you've learned how to be immune to the petty. What is noise? To a man who has heard his calling. What is gossip? To a man building something eternal. What is stress? To a man who breathes in storms and exhales clarity. Listen closely now. This is not just about silence. It's about stillness in motion, power in patience, composure in action. This is about choosing to lead with vision when everyone else runs on emotion. And when you understand that, you begin to see the truth. Control is earned. Every time you want to yell but don't. Every time you want to quit but keep moving. Every time you want to prove a point, but you choose to make progress instead. Self-control is the highest form of power, because if you can command yourself, truly command yourself, there is nothing in this world you cannot shape. You will face adversity. You will face criticism. You will face jealousy, envy, betrayal, injustice, all of it. And each one will be an invitation, not to react, but to rise above the noise, above the drama, above the pressure. It's not just about how you walk through the storm. It's about how you choose to stand still when the wind begs you to fall. Because when you carry inner peace, you become a mirror. You reflect people's chaos back to them. And most can't handle that. They'll try to shake you, not because you've done something wrong, but because your calmness reveals their chaos. Your discipline exposes their drift. Your control reminds them of the control they lack. And so, they'll test you. They'll press buttons, manufacture drama, bring noise into silence. Not because you're weak, but because you're strong. You see, the more unshakable you become, the more the world will send earthquakes to see if you're bluffing. So let them come. Let the storms roll in. Let the voices rise. Let the situation spin out of control. Because you won't. You've already been through worse and survived. You've already lost things that once felt permanent and healed. You've already buried dreams, friends, seasons, and still, you rise. So now, nothing surprises you. Nothing disturbs you. You're not bitter. You're not broken. You're built. You've taken every attack, every delay, every insult, and turned it into discipline. That's what they'll never see. The hidden hours, the quiet nights, the inner work, the conversations you had with yourself when no one else believed, the times you sat in silence and rebuilt yourself from scratch, the resilience formed not in victory, but in the dark, when you were tired, uncertain, and still chose to keep going. That's why you act as if nothing bothers you, because everything that could have broken you already tried and failed. Now you walk through life like a mountain, rooted, grounded, weatherproof. You don't chase. You attract because your presence is earned, not performed. And when people see that, they don't know what to do with it. They expect noise. You offer peace. They expect reaction. You give reason. They expect apology. You give growth. They expect performance. You give authenticity. Because you no longer need to impress. You express. You express who you are by how little you allow the world to sway you. This is how kings are made, not by thrones, but by temperament. You do not need to raise your voice to raise your value. Your value comes from how you carry pressure, how you hold your vision, how you breathe when the room gets thick with tension. That's the mark of true power. Not how loud you can be, but how little you let anything steal your peace. Now listen, this path will demand everything from you. It will demand your ego. It will demand your reactivity. It will demand your need to be understood, justified, defended. But what you get in return? Freedom. Freedom from being triggered by every little thing. Freedom from being emotionally hijacked by people who haven't done the work. Freedom from living at the mercy of the external world. And when you taste that freedom, you'll never give it back. You'll walk into situations that once terrified you. Calm. You'll face people who once intimidated you. Unshaken. You'll hear rumors, insults, lies, and you'll keep building. Because your destiny is not up for debate. And your peace is no longer for sale. Act as if nothing bothers you. Because your path is sacred now. You don't have time for petty wars. You don't have space for emotional debt. You don't have energy for those who live in reaction. You are here for dominion over yourself first, and then over everything you touch. Because that's how change begins. With one man who refuses to react like the rest. One man who lives from principle, not pressure. From conviction, not convenience. From vision, not vanity. This is not just about success. This is about becoming. Becoming something the world rarely sees anymore. A grounded man, an unmovable force, a quiet storm. Because it is the man who has mastered himself, who cannot be moved by anything else. You are not pretending. You are not acting. You are embodying what it means to be unshakable. And that's why you don't react. Not because you can't, but because you choose not to. You've learned that your reaction is currency, and you're done spending it on things that don't serve your purpose. So let the world misread your silence. Let them misinterpret your calm, because your clarity will outlast their confusion. Your peace will outperform their panic. Your legacy will outweigh their noise. Every step you take in stillness echoes louder than 1,000 words. So keep walking. Let your results speak. Let your life whisper strength. Let your energy say everything that words cannot. Because when all is said and done, the world doesn't remember who shouted the loudest. It remembers who moved the quietest and shook everything. And you? You are that quiet storm, unseen, but undeniable. The world will never stop testing you. It will press against your peace. It will measure your patience. It will place temptations in your path, dressed as opportunities, and distractions dressed as obligations. But that's the game. And you've stopped playing games. Because when you learn to act as if nothing bothers you, you are not escaping reality. You are transcending it. You're rising above the small so you can serve the great. You're learning to see beyond the insult, the delay, the betrayal, because you're not here to win arguments. You're here to win yourself. You've been in the arena long enough to know that the real war is not out there. It's in here. It's in how you respond when it's unfair, when it's slow, when it's heavy, when no one applauds, when no one understands. That's when most people fall. They panic, they shrink, they start talking too much and doing too little. But you go quiet. You get still. You sharpen your blade while the rest scream into the void, because you know something they forgot. Stillness is strength, restraint is power, composure is king, and you've crowned yourself with it. You don't fake peace, you forge it. In the gym before the sun, in the office when the deadline bites, in the home when chaos knocks, in the mirror when your eyes look tired, but your mission isn't done. This is not about ignoring emotion. It's about respecting it, without letting it run your life. You can feel everything and still choose your response. You can be heartbroken and still stand tall. You can be doubted and still deliver. You can be tired and still move. And that's what separates the driven from the drifting. You don't need a perfect day. You need a clear reason. And when that reason becomes stronger than your excuses, stronger than your past, stronger than your need to react, that's when the world begins to move for you. Not because it got easier, but because you got anchored, rooted in something deeper, driven by something larger, disciplined in a way that leaves no space for smallness. You now understand that the storms will keep coming. That's guaranteed. But the stronger your foundation, the less they move you. And maybe that's why life throws so much at you. Not to break you, but to reveal you. To carve out the man who can't be bent by circumstance, who doesn't lose himself in reaction, who doesn't drop his crown to dance with chaos. You were never meant to be shaken. You were meant to stand. And the man who stands in his storm without flinching, that man becomes a lighthouse for everyone lost in the waves. That man becomes the calm in the room, the clarity in the crisis, the focus in the noise. That man becomes unforgettable. So let them watch, let them talk, let them poke, provoke, try to drag you down. And you rise in silence. Because your elevation doesn't need validation. Your power is quiet, but it moves mountains. You're not here to flinch. You're here to finish. You're not here to react. You're here to reign. You're not here to fall into moods. You're here to master them. Because every step you take as if nothing bothers you is another mile between you and the man you used to be. You've come too far now. You've sacrificed too much. You've endured too long. You've seen what happens when you let the world dictate your energy. And now, you own it. Your energy is no longer for rent. Your peace is no longer up for debate. Your response is no longer given to things beneath your mission. You've turned pain into patience. You've turned noise into focus. You've turned triggers into training. And now, you are the one who walks in, steady, silent, unshaken, because you know something they don't. You are not easily moved. You are not easily rattled. You are not easily broken. You've been refined in silence, trained in tension, built in battles no one saw. And now, you wear your calm like armor. You carry your stillness like a blade. And you move through life like a storm that chooses when to strike. You've mastered the art of being undisturbed. And in doing so, you've mastered yourself. That is the greatest victory of all. Not applause, not trophies, not fame, but the quiet, unshakable knowing that nothing owns you anymore. So carry on, focused, grounded, ruthless in discipline, gentle in spirit, and untouchable in presence. You've earned your stillness. You've built your peace. Now walk in it like the king you are. And when they ask how you became so calm, you'll smile and simply say, I learned to act as if nothing bothers me until nothing ever could.